unfortunately, it was this niche audience, but at the same time, it really appealed to people. It really, it made people feel that this was very sincere, very legitimate. What the program being presented to them. And then you bring in people like Zach Selwyn and Olivia Munn and Layla Cayley and Kristen Holt, and their backgrounds are so divergent from video gaming and internet technology, gadgetry, stuff like that, which turned off a lot of fans. There was a lot of resentment to begin with. And so that's why, like I said, when Olivia Munn could finally talk legitimately, sincerely with Kevin Pereira about, internet and gaming, and you knew that she was she was telling the truth, and she was speaking from her own personal experience. It was obvious, and it felt, normal and natural, and that's, like I said, why people just, loved it. Let's see, so that was Comic-Con. So like I said, a little disappointing. Then they went to Japan, which was a little bit better. I was afraid that them going to Japan would be a bunch of all filler here, teaser there. Here's this one thing which means nothing. Here's this other thing which is not that important. But it was pretty neat. I mean, it was a bit of cultural, a bit of running into different environments and reacting. But a lot of it was pretty neat. So, and even they stayed the whole week in Tokyo, so it wasn't too bad. And I think the advantage to that was that Kevin and Olivia had gone a week prior, so they were able to, with the skeleton crew, and so they were able to film some events and segments and really prepare and get a feel for the layout of the land and what they were going to do. And so that worked out in their favor. Surprisingly, though, and I think a couple other people kind of noticed this too, was that, well, where is the Japanese version of G4 and Attack of the Show? That would have been amazing if they could have linked up with those guys in some way or another, and even done the show from their studio. It would all be in Japanese probably, and we would understand nothing. But I think just the sheer bizarre factor would be entertainment enough. Or like they're just in the studio of this other TV program, TV channel or show, and and there's kind of this like the other shows going on in the background, and here's the American version going on in front of us. And then they could do silly whatever kind of things with those with the hosts of that program. I even was coming up with ideas. I said, if you had your counterparts, your Japanese counterparts there, just do the show like that. Just or have them host the show, and just Kevin and Olivia just on Monday just stand there off to the side and smile and not understand and just kind of react. And then on Tuesday, they could do it that Kevin and Olivia would be in front, the Japanese host would be behind, and so Kevin and Olivia would pantomime, talking to each other, and interacting, and just have no idea what they're talking, what's going on, but who's being the puppets for the Japanese host. I was thinking that then by Wednesday, Kevin and Olivia would just start doing random things in the background. And on Thursday, Kevin would be running around in his underwear, and then dipping his feet in paint and painting a wall or something. I'm like, what's the most? Is this idea in my mind? What's the most bizarre thing the guy could do in Japan, of all places, where they got some pretty bizarre things happening for entertainment, and it would be acceptable. I was like, well, yeah, run around in his underwear and paint a wall with his feet. So. And then on Friday they would, they'd calm down and be sincere, but who knows? It'd still be pretty neat. But for the weekend in Japan, it was all right. They actually did some pretty good stuff, and they talked, or they showed us some interesting aspects about Japanese culture, and a lot of different stores and places they went to, And it was also Wil Oneal's baby, you could say, in that there's a lot of technology there that he was able to, get his hands on and talk about. And the unfortunate side effect is that well, it's all Japanese technology because, as he kept referencing, there was stuff there that it's basically this idea that well, this is how the Japanese live, and I think that was what he should have kind of been looking at was that well, how are the Japanese using technology? How are they, because what he was saying was for their cell phones, their cell phones are a bit more advanced than the American ones now, but the iPhone may bridge that gap. And what he noticed is that people were able to take their cell phones and they could take a picture of something they would see, like an advertisement or a product or a package of some sort, and there's this unique barcode that the cell phone had built-in scanning technology. It would scan the barcode and give you the information about that product that you're looking at. Give you websites, give you locations, give you coupons and deals. So very much commuter related. A very interesting aspect. And in my opinion, that's what the iPhone's about. It's very much about this commuter community of just people who they spend time on the subway. They spend time waiting somewhere and or they have to sit and do something and then the other aspect that this can help them with their business and jobs and stuff. And then the Friday, they spent the whole night at a fish market, or they went to a couple more bars, and then the last half of the show was them at a fish market, which is just it's a ridiculous idea. But anyways, so I was a little, I felt like they had done a little bit better for Tokyo when they finally came, or when they did see the Consumer Electronics Show. There was the two crews. There was the people in the studio and the people at Las Vegas, and in my opinion, they did a good job because there was a little bit of filler because you had some segments in the studio, but they had the floor reports. They had the Kevin and Olivia on the floor over in Las Vegas and Wil Oneal with them, and that did a good job of talking about everything and covering everything going on. Thursday night they had their legitimate consumer electronics show. They called it, and that was 2 hours, and luckily, or smart move on their part, it wasn't really covering, or it wasn't really bits and pieces that they'd already done. So it was new material. So very good move on the G4's part to just basically not repeat what they'd already shown. So thank you guys for that. Then Friday night there was the Adult Video News convention. So the equivalent of CES, but except for adult entertainment. So a lot of pornography and even then they had a couple gadgets and toys they were bringing out. But and I'm glad there wasn't a whole week-long thing for that. Because it was interesting, but at the same time it's just like, well, it's just much porn. So. But it was very interesting. It was fun. It was a neat little show they had, and they actually did a good job of showing us content, showing us stuff that was interesting and entertaining. And then on Tuesday night, Zach Selman went to the the AEE, the Adult Entertainment Expo, AVN, the Adult Video Network or Adult Video News. Is an award show, and that was on Tuesday. Friday night was the AE, the Adult Entertainment Expo, which was all the porn and gadgets and whatnot. You get autographs from your favorite porn star. So, man. So Friday night was pretty good, and then Tuesday night, Zach Selman hosted from the red carpet for the AVN Awards, and you can only view that online, and for good reason. And that was pretty interesting. But it's just what strikes me is that so you're interviewing all these porn stars, and the thing is,